attend, protest, movement, biography, attend, attention, capture, oxygen, tales, creatures, obstacles, divorce, registration, arrested, poison, material, bulletin, giant, fluent, pioneers, pouch, seaweed, controlled, championships, possessions, moisture, memories, abolished, pyramids, emerge, temperature, humidity, insistent, irrigated, thrived, slavery, evaporate, classified, preserved, fashioned, courageous, businesswoman, settlement, infrared, fusion, nebula, emulate, articulate, encyclopedia, persecution, inevitable, gravity, nuclear, assimilate, rifling, helium, migration, immigrants, miserable, births, oppressed,
Okay. All right, we can stop there.
Okay.
All right, next. So the first concept question is, what is immigration? What is an immigrant?
Someone who moves to a new country.
And what do we mean by persecution?
I think to get kicked out or like eliminated from something.
Okay. What do we mean by hardship?
I don't
know. What is oppression?
I don't know that either.
Okay. All right, so I asked you a question about what is an immigrant? What do we mean by persecution? What do we mean by hardship? And what is oppression? And then you know that article is reasons for immigration. What do you think this text might be about?
It will probably answer those questions.
So what do you think it might say?
Like explaining what an immigrant is and all those words like hardship.
Okay. All right, so now you can go ahead and read, and it's down to here, and then flip the next page. Okay?
Should I read it in my head or
Out loud.
Okay. Between 1866 and 1950, more than 1 million immigrants poured into the United States. Both push and pull factors played a part of the vast migration. Push factors are considered that drive people from their homes. Pull factors are conditions that attract immigrants to new areas. Push factors. Many immigrants were small farmers for landless farm workers. As European populations grew, land for farming became scarce. Small farms could barely support the families who worked them. In some areas, new farm machines replaced farm workers. Another factor was politician and religious persecution that pushed many people to leave their homes. In the late 1800s, the Russian government supported pogroms or organized attacks on Jewish villages. Every night recalled a Jewish girl who fled Russia. They were chasing after us to kill everyone. Millions of Jews fled Russia and Eastern Europe to settle in American cities. Persecution was also a push factor for Armenian immigrants. The Armenians lived in the Ottoman Empire, present-day Turkey. Between the 1890s and the 1920s, the Ottoman government killed 1 million or more Ottomans. Many fled, eventually settling in California and elsewhere in the United States. War and hardship were other push factors. In 1913, the Civil War raged in Mexico, and this caused thousands of Mexicans to cross the border into the American Southwest. Poverty and hardship in China drew many Chinese to make new homes across the Pacific. After gold was discovered in California, thousands of Chinese poured into California, attracted, like so many others, by tales of the mountains of gold. Pull factors. The promise to freedom and hope for a better life attracted poor and oppressed people from Europe, Asia, and Latin America. Often one bold family member, usually a young single male, set off for the United States. Before long, he would write home with news of the rich land across the ocean or across the border. Once settled, he would send family members to join him. Once settled, the newcomers helped pull neighbors from the old country to the United States. In the 1800s, one out of every 10 Greeks left their home for the United States. Thousands of Italians, Poles, and Eastern European Jews also sailed to America. Jobs were another pull factor. American factories needed workers, and factory owners sent agents to Europe and Asia to hire workers at low wages. Steamship company competed to offer low fares for the ocean crossing, and railroad posted notices in Europe advertising cheap land in the American West.
Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is ask some questions. And the first time I ask them, try to remember or recall it from the article.
Okay.
And then I'll give you a chance to look back, and you can answer by looking back and trying to find the answer. Okay? All right, so what is this passage mostly about?
Immigrants that come to America and things that pull them there and drive them away from their original home.
Okay. Do you want to look back in the passage to see if there's anything else you want to add about what this passage is mostly about?
Also, how they came here for jobs, because their jobs were scarce.
Okay. All right. Why did farmers leave Europe and come to America?
Because the jobs are better here.
Okay. Do you want to look back?
And they had smaller farms.
Why would growing populations result in scarce farming land?
Because the more people, the more they use the land, and then the people have to use less land to share farms.
Okay, do you want to look back? Why would growing populations result in scarce farming land?
There is new farm machines that replace farm workers.
Okay. Name 2 push factors affecting immigration.
Well, the scarce farmland and the population.
Okay, you want to look back?
War and hardship.
Mm-hmm. What push factors cause Mexicans to cross the border into America?
I don't remember that one.
Okay, do you want to look back to find it? What push factor caused Mexicans to cross the border into America?
I think it was the Civil War.
Okay. And why was a young single male usually the first family member to immigrate?
I think so. They could go find a home and then bring their relatives.
Oops. You want to look back to see why a young single male was the one chosen?
So he could write home with news and find rich farmland. And then once he's settled, send his families to join him.
Okay. Give 2 examples of pull factors.
New jobs and bigger land.
Okay, you want to look back? 2 pull factors that affected immigration.
Freedom and hope for a better life.
Okay. Why would having a neighbor in America be a pull factor?
Someone to rely on for help in life, maybe.
Okay, do you want to look back? Why would having a neighbor in America be a pull factor?
I don't know. It just says, like, yeah, I don't know. Say that.
Okay. Why did factory owners send agents to Europe to hire workers?
Wait, what?
Why did factory owners send agents to Europe to hire workers?
I don't remember that one.
Okay, you can look back to see if you can find it. Why did factory owners send agents to Europe to hire workers?
To find people who would work for low wages.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and why would railroads advertise cheap land in the American West? Okay. Why would railroads advertise cheap land in the American West?
The steamship companies competed with it, and it offered low fares.
Okay, perfect, we're done. Easy?